As we approach the halfway point of the trimester, all things begin to wear on us, and we begin to experience different stages of loss. For some, it's a loneliness and panic of not being able to socialize with real people. For others, it's the anxiety of not being able to work out in an organized fashion, because apparently curling your dog is not enough. Others, the results are more physical in nature. All this will end, push forward, this will recede in time. Like my hairline.
Welcome to week 4 of the course, and what will be our last week focused on poetry and song-based writing. Starting in week 5, we will begin short stories, fiction, nonfiction, and transitioning fully into that. Our 3 weekly writings I have attached as a file here for you. Your first one is to just tell a funny story, and this can be in prose. It can be something that you've experienced, something you've heard, just a retelling. Number 2 is focused on a self-edit. So take anything you've made up to this point, drastically change it. You do not have to keep your change, but I would like you to at least revise and edit. One way that this has been done before is to copy and paste your earlier work, and then right below it, you change it in some drastic way. The final one is to find any random instrumental soundtrack and write or describe what you picture as the songs play. Try to pick a song that you've never heard before. For example, last year's creative writing class, for those of you who remember this, when you heard the instrumental to the Pokemon theme song, you knew what was happening. And so your descriptions of that was perhaps slightly biased. So keep that in mind. If you haven't heard it, fantastic. Put to word what you imagine based on the music. So those are your 3 additions for this week. The only writing that we are officially doing besides that is what we call a soliloquy. Soliloquy. It's like Mnemone from Nemo. It's just, don't hurt yourself. Soliloquy. Now, if you were to ask, okay, what is this supposed to be? Think of any random time in a movie or a story or show when a character makes some sort of drastic decision after a pause. And you may be asking, okay, what the heck? Why did they do that? There was no hinting at it. They just stared into the mid-distance and then did something stupid. Well, perhaps that dramatic pause, there was some sort of inner conflict, inner turmoil, inner conversation, and that's what you would be putting into words. So think of any point in any show, book, movie, doesn't matter, where a character is clearly thinking something but is never shared with the audience, and you're going to put those thoughts into words. One example would be any epic battle sequence in a movie, and one of the leaders is just staring at the opposing force. Well, what's he thinking? Perhaps you want to write that out. Another example would be the Fast and Furious movies. The characters are always staring at their cars or at the opponent right before they start driving, but they don't exactly speak. They just glare into the mid-distance. Perhaps you want to put words into that. Another example, Star Wars. Anakin he literally stares at a building, starts crying. His wife in a completely different building stares at him. And through this stare back and forth, Anakin apparently decides it's okay to kill his entire family unit, but that's George Lucas, and I'm not going to critique. But he doesn't say anything, and if you were to write it out, that would be considered a soliloquy. Now, for those who perhaps want a few examples, I've attached 2 I've written in previous years. One is from Avengers Infinity War, Thanos before he gets the Soul Stone, super dramatic sequence. Well, if you were to think something before that, what would he say? And the final one is Han Solo before he gets frozen in carbonite from Empire Strikes Back. All he says is, I know, but he had to think something else. So have fun with this. It's honestly one of my favorite forms of writing, but That should go in your portfolio with any of the works that you've done. Any other questions, feel free to reach out, and good luck.